What is up, guys, and welcome back to Career Mode. Today we are tackling the Chinese Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the previous episode, I recommend you stop now, go check it out, because there was a lot of crap that went down in the previous episode, including a team change, as you can see here. So I'll explain that in the last video, so go check it out. But looking today to the Chinese Grand Prix, we've got an engine upgrade going on the car. Hopefully that's going to help us in our goal to be more competitive, closer to being a midfield team and overtaking some cars on the rivalry or the team performance index, like you can see there. So we're just over halfway in terms of upgrades, and I think we're only just going to overtake Manor or maybe even Mercedes once we reach our maximum potential. So heading off now for practice, and you can see it's a fairly wet one. I believe we're going to have some rain either in qualifying or the race, which will definitely spice things up. It definitely helps to have some tricky conditions when you're in a slower car, because the AI can be a little bit weak in those trickier conditions. But here we are at the end of the Friday practice session. We ended up in 21st place, but that is not a representative time of where our pace stands. But it's time now for quali.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China.
So here we go then for the qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix. On F1 2016, it seems like this has been surprisingly one of my better tracks. In the past, China has always been a weak track for me, but against the AI, I always tend to favour myself against these guys on this game. First run in qualifying was done on the soft compound tyres. We managed to get in 13th place briefly before the end of the session. We got demoted down to last place. So unfortunately, my efforts are trying to save all the super soft tyres for qualifying 2. That's not worked out, and we're going to have to do a run at the end of Q1 here just to get ourselves through to qualifying 2 if we can. It might be a struggle. Bahrain was a strong track for us versus the AI, so we might have a tougher time of things here in this Chinese Grand Prix. We did get 21st in practice, but we did one of our faster laps in intermediate conditions, the qualifying pace program, and we looked pretty quick at the time. But coming up to the line, do we make it to Q2, sorry? Yes, we do. We get 11th place, only 1.3 seconds away from the provisional pole time of Max Verstappen, but however, he was on the soft compound tyres, so more pace to find for the leaders there. Qualifying 2, and I did a run on the used set of super soft tyres that I ran at the end of Q1, and then the second run here is a brand new set of super softs, and hopefully this can get us very, very close to getting inside the top 10. I went to do a fast lap there, but the game actually told me there wasn't enough time to set another lap, and I was like, no way, there's still just under 2 minutes to go, so I had to manually do the outlap myself, and as you can see here, we just crossed the line there with 6 seconds to spare, and now I'm going to take you for a running commentary of my fastest lap here in qualifying 2. Checkered flag is now out. We sit in 15th place, and hopefully with a new set of tyres we could find 6, 7, 8 tenths. I think that's what the delta was according to the team just before I ventured out on track to use this new set of tyres. So coming to the end of the first sector, it only lasts about 20 seconds. We're 3 tenths up on our previous best. Second gear on the exit there, I was really testing different gear ratios or different gear selection through different corners, and I found that second gear seemed to be the better choice through those slower corners. Even though third gear you get less wheel spin, it might be something to use in the race, but either way, through the middle sector now, third gear shifting up to fourth, early to dull the wheel spin and oversteer, and now you can see we're 5 tenths up as we head into the braking zone that leads onto this very, very long straight. This is a very important corner here, because if you get a bad exit here, it's going to hurt you all the way down the straight, and in a car like this, it's very easy to get oversteer, very easy to lose the back end there. We managed to negotiate that fairly nicely, and now we're almost 6 tenths up, open the DRS, and now sizing up this heavy braking zone, penultimate corner. You want to brake just after the 150 meter board, and I think we braked pretty close to the 100 meter board there, so right on the adhesion of grip there, the limit of grip. Coming up to the final corner now, this is fourth gear if you can get it in nice and flowing. We take the bollard with us and corner cut slightly, but we come up to the line and we get into Q3. We managed to get a time that was good enough for 10th place. I wasn't expecting that. I was only expecting to be something like 12th, but to only just squeeze in there, I will definitely take that very surprising results. I think maybe the engine upgrade was the determining factor of us getting through to qualifying 3 there. So very, very happy with my efforts, considering we're still the second slowest car in this Haas F1 team. But here, this is qualifying 3. I only have one brand new set of tyres to use. It's the free set that you get in Q3, so I'm just using that now. And hopefully we can even find maybe 1 or 2 more positions in this session. That would be, absolutely awesome. But coming up to the line, do we improve? We go to position 8, and that's a further 2 spots we've managed to gain in that session. So really chuffed with that. 1.5 seconds away from Daniel Ricciardo's pole time of 1:32.8. And we've also outqualified guys like Pascal Wehrlein, my former teammate, won the championship with Manor. And we've also outqualified Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. So to get 8th place, very, very happy with that. The pace is there in qualifying. Now it's just a case of getting a really good start. We could possibly get ourselves into the top 5 if we could really make an aggressive start of things. So it's time now for the race, for the Chinese Grand Prix. Hopefully some more points away.
Ever since the Sauber of Felipe Massa passed Jenson Button into turn 1 at the very first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004, Shanghai has consistently provided close racing and extraordinary memories.
It's race time then for the Chinese Grand Prix. Starting from 8th place, we have some weather on the horizon. It looks like it's going to rain maybe towards the second stint of this race, with some light rain venturing off into heavy rain before it gets back to dry conditions for the finish of this race. It's definitely going to be very exciting. We can definitely throw the strategy completely out the window as we get this race underway. 5 red lights and away we go for this Chinese Grand Prix. Pascal Wehrlein in the previous race got off to a fantastic start. Not the case this time as he tries to pass me round the outside, and there's 3 wide there between the 2 Force Indias and a Mercedes. We go up the inside of all those guys and make our way inside the top 5, with both the Red Bulls scrapping away for the lead of this Grand Prix, with the Ferraris following 3rd and 4th. Hopefully those guys can continue to battle, and we can get stuck into things here as that continues at the end of the first lap. Verstappen takes the lead of this Chinese Grand Prix. I'm looking at the weather report as I'm also sizing up the Ferraris as well. I think I'm going to switch to intermediate tyres before this stint is over as we got the inside of both the Ferraris there. I was expecting to get in front of Vettel there, not Raikkonen, who opens the door for me, and I will definitely take that. Team radio. Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea of when the rain was coming down there. I think the engineer just at the start of the race said that rain was coming, so I want to be prepared for that whenever that might be, as DRS is now enabled here on lap 3. You can see Raikkonen goes up the inside there. He got a really nice exit off the final corner. He shoves us out wide as the rain is now starting to fall on the screen now, so it could only be a minute or 2 before the rain really starts to get heavy, and DRS has been disabled on the same lap. So the rain was supposed to be heavy rain, so it's going to fall very, very quickly. So we could see a very quick transition into a fully wet track here. And I'm going to pit at the end of this lap because it's always good to change onto intermediates as soon as the DRS gets disabled. Now we'll see if both the Red Bulls here decide to make a pit stop here. We lose the back end like crazy there. The grip has just completely gone out the window in the last 60 seconds, and now we're coming in. We have no choice. It's definitely the best decision because we've lost about 5 or 6 seconds at least on this lap alone as we slow down for the marks. It's very easy to speed into the pit lane in conditions like this. I did the exact same thing in YouTuber Championship and it completely cost my race. So into the pits now. I think Verstappen made his stop and Ricciardo has actually stayed out the extra lap. So he's going to get screwed over massively in terms of track position in this one. We rejoin in P11 as literally everyone else behind me makes their stop as well. And the grip conditions at the moment aren't that great, even on the intermediate tyres. It's still not quite wet enough for me to find optimal grip at the moment. But the end of lap 4 here, you can see these are the guys who were avoiding a double stack because their teammate came into the pits on the previous lap, and Grosjean shoved us out wide there, and yeah, really slowed our momentum onto this straight, and I think we might struggle to overtake all these guys here, as I had to dart to the inside there. I didn't want to get caught on the left-hand side, get caught behind Palmer and Alonso, because I knew they were going to be very, very tentative heading into that braking zone. Position 8 now, as next up is Felipe Nasr. All these guys in front of us are going to be coming in anyway. You know, I think that is going to elevate us back up into second place. We're going to overtake Ricciardo because he lost about 10 seconds staying out the extra lap. And there we go, into second place with Verstappen leading this Grand Prix. He got held up by that train of cars there briefly, but I don't think he'll be too disappointed at that, because the Red Bull is just light years ahead of any other car in terms of performance. His teammate is essentially out of the game now, and I think he's probably going to cruise on to win this race, as the safety car has now been brought out here. And you see, this is Bottas, the cause of the safety car, runs into the back of a Manor there, spins round, and then I think he gets collected, or does he? Oh no, Alonso spins as well. No, that's Jenson Button. I'm doing a crofty here. I'm getting everything wrong with the details. But the safety car was brought out for that. Pretty interesting, because neither of those cars were stuck there. They managed to continue on. Team radio.
We could see the rain getting worse in around 5 minutes. Heavy rain on its way.
And there we go. There's that heavy rain that I was alluding to you guys at the start of the race. So I think under safety car conditions, it might be worth just switching onto the wet tyres. We're not going to lose any time behind the queue because, you know, we're pretty much going to be able to stay with the queue anyway. But I feel like the rain will start to really come down while the safety car is still out. So I think right as the safety car ends, I think that it might be the best time to switch to wet tyres. So I'm essentially giving away all of my track position here, but I feel like it's worth the gamble of potentially leading this race by the end of it. But we run into the back of Kvyat there. He was going very, very slowly under yellow flag conditions. Pretty much my fault there. I just didn't slow down enough there, and almost ended in disaster with one of us losing a tyre or a front wing or something like that. But now we're getting ready to restart this race on the 8th lap of this Chinese Grand Prix. I felt like this race has gone on for much longer than that. There's just been so much that's happened in the first 8 laps of this race, but away we go. The green flag racing once again. There's about 3 or 4 cars who do opt to fit on the wet tyres, so they're already struggling in the conditions. Yellow flag has been brought out. Has someone retired? Yes, it is. It's Daniel Ricciardo. Did he get an engine failure? Has he crashed out? Doesn't he have any grip on his intermediate tyres? I'm not too sure. We might see him as we come around this corner here. And there he is. He's off to the side there. I believe it's an engine failure. It's very, very hard to lose a tyre or something like that in a slow-speed corner like that. But we rejoin on the action on the very next lap. You can see we're track extending like a boss there in the heavy traffic there of cars on intermediate tyres. Verstappen, our race leader, has opted to go onto the wet tyres now. So we've been relinquished into second place now with Lewis Hamilton heading the queue here on intermediate tyres. So the gamble has worked out as we now take the lead of this race on the wet tyres. We have almost a pit stops lead over Max Verstappen at the moment.
Verstappen behind. Our gap behind is 10.8 seconds. They're on fresh wets.
Okay, so now we have a very, very different scenario on our hands. We lead this race over Max Verstappen. The gap is 10 seconds, so from here on in for the rest of this race, we've got 16 laps to go. I've got to pretty much manage this 10-second lead that I have at the moment. No, you're kidding me. We had a 10-second lead, a genuine lead of 10 seconds, and it's all come down to nothing now as the safety car was brought out. I don't know who retired or what, but yeah, that's really screwed with our strategy here. So I'm going aggressive again. I'm going back to the intermediate tyres because it was supposed to go back to light rain in about 5 minutes time anyway. So once again, we're risking it for the chocolate biscuit, and hopefully this one can work out for us as well. We managed to rejoin in P2 there, so it wasn't too much of a gamble, but we'll see now. Yeah, Max Verstappen actually makes his stop as well, so the heavy rain didn't last too long like it was forecasted, and Max has taken the gamble as well, with Lewis Hamilton following as well. So this is going to be very interesting. I want to see where both Max and Lewis rejoin in this race, because everyone was still going very slowly, and the field wasn't fully bunched up. I don't think Max will lose too many positions here. I think he'll still be inside the top 10 here. So we are definitely going to have a fight on our hands. It's just going to be a matter of time once Max gets through the field and starts ranging up onto the back of me. I'm going to be pooing myself potentially. So here we go, ready for the race to resume now. I always love these strategy riddled races where, yeah, the strategy always comes to the forefront, but I think we are just about ready to go now. And away we go for the resumption of this race. Yeah, I think I like to go early just to you know, build up the temperature in the tires once again, and to get a flow going before we officially go back to green flag racing. It's always good to go at a random point as well to catch the AI out and potentially build out a little bit of a gap. So looks like there's an incident back there. Was there, or was there not? I can't really tell. I think it's just back to green flag racing. Either way, 12 laps to go now, and we're starting to think about when we're going to switch back onto the dry tyres. The track is already starting to dry out. There's a bit of a dry line forming as we ran wide through the final corner. Engineer is telling me about traffic conditions, weather conditions, as we lose the lead of this race once again. Let's try and sneak up the inside of Raikkonen, who managed to be the beneficiary there of my mistake as we carry on to lap 17. Track is really dried out quite significantly here. I didn't think it was worth pitting in for dry tyres on that occasion. It's still a little bit too wet, but as we go through turn 1, just 10 seconds later, DRS was enabled, and about half of the field managed to capitalise on that perfect timing. So, unfortunately, I think we're going to be in a similar case to Daniel Ricciardo earlier on. We've lost out to both Raikkonen, Rosberg, and Verstappen, so it's going to be P4 for us with 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix. The engineer can't stop talking, just especially when there's lots of things going on. But lap 20, Raikkonen up the inside. He's going to try and take away position 4 from me in this Grand Prix, but I'm definitely not going to go down without at least trying to fight for my position in a midfield car, kind of back market car. All these points definitely matter in both the drivers and the constructors race. And you can see huge train right behind me. Bottas has actually rear-ended me on the straight there as we head into the hairpin, and Raikkonen's up my inside. I don't think Bottas conceded any damage there. Somehow we all survive in a massive 4 or 5 car train there. Bottas, yeah, just rear-ends me on the straight. He decided to go for a gap that was never going to work out for him. Like, where was he going to go? Apart from into my rear end, or even one of Raikkonen's rear tyres there. And continuing on into the hairpin, we actually turned in a little bit too much on Raikkonen. He lost some traction there and managed to save his position there, but we carry on to the next lap, and here comes Raikkonen and Bottas once again into the hairpin. Bottas late on the brakes, and I lifted off the brake a little bit more to sneak a few meters and go back up the inside. We still hold on to 4th. You can clearly see we are not as quick as these guys. We're just we're completely out of our depth here, just trying to hold on to position 4 as best we can, but I'm really just running rich revs, trying to go aggressively all over the track, trying to like break the slipstream, and we're only just hanging on here by a thread. As you can see, Raikkonen and Bottas here get tangled up on the exit of that hairpin. They go through the gravel trap, and I think Raikkonen, yeah, he gets collected by both Amana and also Lewis Hamilton, who's lost part of his front wing there. So it's Sergio Perez who emerges in P5. Much faster car does Perez have over the Ferrari and also the Williams that I was battling with. So I'm going to have an even tougher time of things in these final 4 laps, trying to hold on to my position. Here comes Perez. He goes for the inside. Jenson Button is coming as well. He's going to go around the outside as well. And I'm going to try and dive bomb Perez at the last second. Really sneak the nose in there and try and squeeze him out wide on the exit. I don't have the traction at this phase of the Grand Prix. The tyres are really starting to let go as well. We go slow in, fast out through the final corner. This is how we won the race last season in the Manor, and we managed to get 4th place back once again. But it only lasts for an extra lap before Perez gets us even earlier on the straight. I believe he switched his fuel mixture up to rich, and I had nothing to really fight with there in the braking zone. He was just too far ahead. I locked up massively, and now you can see I'm getting very desperate here, trying to get close to Perez. I've lost the back end again on the curbing, and just managed to save us from ending in disaster with only 2 laps to go in the Grand Prix. I think it's time to settle things down and try and secure P5 if we can. But we had a bit of a gap, like 1 or 2 seconds back to Bottas once again with 2 laps to go. But on the final lap, that gap essentially comes down to nothing. And now Bottas is going to have a real solid go here on this final back straight of the last lap of the Chinese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen wins. We're going to move to the inside to break the slipstream. He's already soared past us, so let's get the slipstream back off of him and potentially dive bomb him into the hairpin. Move to the inside. I'm not quite close enough, and he's just got better traction on the exit. I'm still going to try and hold it around the outside, but no, he's got better traction through 3rd and 4th gear. And unfortunately, coming up to the line, we've lost another position, another 2 points, and it's P6.
All your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy.
So there we go, guys. 6th place in the Chinese Grand Prix. I was really disappointed to lose not only 5th place to Bottas, but also to lose that position to Perez. I defended for so long against both Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas, but just in the final few laps there, I just didn't have anything to fight with in terms of tyre wear, so those guys really were able to outdrive me. So 6th place, pretty disappointing when you consider I was leading the Grand Prix by 10 seconds while we were still on the wet tyres. We had a 10-second lead over Verstappen. Safety car came out, completely changed the race. Then I misjudged when to switch on to the dry tyres, and that really cost me in the end there. So a few little mistakes, and we could have scored even more points in this championship. So the potential is there. I've just got to limit those mistakes and really race well while the car is still fairly uncompetitive, and we can pick up some pretty handy points that'll go a long way towards getting ourselves higher up the order. But that's been this race, the Chinese Grand Prix. We both sit 7th and 5th in the constructors standings and the driver standings respectively. Resource points, we're almost at 700, and we're also very, very close to potentially getting another engine upgrade or potentially a weight reduction upgrade, which will hopefully be on the car in time for the Monaco Grand Prix. So that's been this race for today, the Chinese Grand Prix. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2016 videos. And until the next race, guys, I'll see you next time.